Hey y'all. So I'm making this video to answer the question that I get asked the absolute most. Like, it seems like nothing else about me matters except for the simple fact that I am a merchant seaman or merchant marine, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I get asked the most of.
You're a merchant seaman, right?
You're merchant marine.
Hey, what's up? So you're a merchant seaman?
You're merchant seaman, right?
Like, they don't even, how have you been? How you do? People that I haven't talked to in years, exes, cousins, uncles, baby moms, brothers. People hit me up that would never talk to me otherwise, except to ask me how to become a merchant seaman, how did I become a merchant seaman, how to do this, how to do that. And I don't mind it, but I know for sure that these are the only reasons that certain people talk to me. And I'm pretty sure anybody that's a merchant seaman, they get the same problems. Like, people that would never ever hit you up in life, hit you up to ask you questions about how to become a merchant seaman. So I'm making this video today to try to answer majority of the questions that I get asked. Try to just clarify some things for people, I guess, and making a video that I would want to see if I was doing my research, because when I first was doing my research, I put it in YouTube and I put it in certain places and I couldn't find all the information plain and simple that I was looking for. And this, I'm gonna try to make this as plain and simple as possible. So one thing I get asked is, what's the difference between a merchant seaman and a merchant marine? They're the same thing. It's the exact same thing. I don't know why it has two different names. I'm pretty sure there's a history behind it, but I don't know. So it's the same thing. There's no difference. It's all the same. I also get asked, are you in the military? Being a merchant seaman, being a merchant marine, you're not in the military. You don't get benefits like the military benefits. You don't get to shop on base. You don't get stationed anywhere. You can live anywhere on the planet and be a merchant seaman, as long as you can get to a union hall when you need to work, or as long as if you have a permanent job, you can get a flight to where your ship is. It's simple. People always ask me, so where are you stationed now? And I'm like, I'm back at home. Oh, you got stationed back at home? That's cool. No, I just live there. I don't get stationed anywhere. So being a merchant seaman, yeah, as long as you're ready to go to work, you can make it to where you need to go, you're good. You can stay wherever you want to stay. I'm a part of a union. It's called Seafarers International Union. I People feel like MSC is the only way to go into it. It's a good way, I'm sure, but that's not the way I got into it. I worked on MSC ships before, but being that I'm a part of a union that gets contracts for different companies that have ships, I can pretty much work for any company on any contract, not just MSC. MSC, they work on MSC ships, from what I understand. But I went through a school in Piney Point, Maryland. It's a 3-month program initially. To get into the school, there are 3 things you need before you even apply to the school. And it's really not a lot to do if that's something that you really want to do. The first thing you need is a passport. How are you going to leave the country without a passport? You can get it from the post office, a few other places you can get your passport from. It's maybe about $130. That's the first thing you're going to need to get, okay? The second thing is a TWIC card. Your TWIC card is about $125. You can apply for it online, and I don't really remember it too much, but I will leave some information so you can look it up. The third thing is your Merchant Mariner's credential. I believe that costs around $130 as well. You also have to take a Coast Guard physical and drug test. No, it can't be a regular physical and drug test. No, your insurance does not cover the Coast Guard physical and drug test, and it costs a few $100s. I can't remember if it's like $400 or $500. So it goes along with these credentials that you're going to need to apply for the school. The reason I say to get these credentials before you apply to the school is because the school gives you deadlines. So the school will send you a letter if you get accepted. They'll send you a letter and say you have 10 days to present proof of your passport. So if you're waiting to receive your passport and it takes you 2 or 3 weeks and you only have 10 days to submit the proof, you're kind of screwing yourself over. So I would say get everything beforehand. The reason people do the school way in Maryland is because once you get accepted into the school, they put you through the classes. You get your STCW, which is what you're going to need. basic water survival class. You're going to get a basic firefighting class that you're going to need. A few other minor classes that you're going to need to have in your merchant mariner credential before you can get on a ship. And they pay for that. So the only thing that you have to pay for when you go is your own documents and your uniform for the school. The uniform for the school was close to $500. When you get to the school, they try to make it kind of like the military, basic training. You march to class, rain, snow, you have to yell out loud. They have people who are classes ahead of you that come out and like yell in your face. Now that I think about it, it's pretty crappy that they make you go through that, because you don't go through anything like that on the ship because it's not the military. So, but whatever. I guess that's their way of doing things. They may have changed it since then, but when I went through it in 2013, that's the way that they were doing it. So the school is also going to ask you to give them a dental letter saying that you don't have any work that needs to be done or anything that's going to hinder you from being out on a ship for months at a time. Also, with health issues, something like high blood pressure and diabetes, you still can be a merchant seaman, but you have to show proof that you can keep it under control and that you have enough medication to last you while you're gone for months and months at a time. And also, I think you have to have like a doctor's letter. And you have to be cleared whenever you go to take your physical and drug test. They have to declare you fit for duty. If you're not fit for duty, you're not going anywhere. It's plain and simple. In the school, they separate the guys and the girls. And when I was there was maybe like 6 or 7 women and like 60 guys. So the girls are on the 3rd floor, the guys are on all the other floors of the building. And people get kicked out of the school easily. Like, people get kicked out of the school for a little bit of everything. There's no age limit. There's no weight requirements. There was a lady in my class. She was in her 60s. She was becoming an emergency. Like, they don't have any requirements on that like with the military. So it's never too late. You also have to take a reading and math test. It's not hard. They say it's 7th grade level. It was really easy. Some people fail it though. So in school is not for everybody. Some people get freaked out by tests. I understand, but if you're going to go into it, you should go brush up on your math a little bit, get a tutor or something, so that way you can go take it, pass it, knock it out. That test you take at your local union hall. Once you get accepted, you go to the school for 3 months. You don't get paid while you're in training. You get paid like $20 a week while you're in training for 3 months. Okay? That's number 1. After your 3 months, you go on a training ship for 3 months. On my training ship, I got paid half a minimum wage an hour, I believe. So you still aren't getting paid really, okay? After that, I went back home. The training ship is called Phase 2. I went back home and waited for them to call me back for Phase 3. You have to complete a C project, basically like answering all these questions, getting signatures from captains and chief engineers and things like that, to go back for Phase 3. I waited about a month and a half before they called me back for Phase 3. Same time, I'm still not getting paid any money. Also, while you're waiting for this Phase 3, you pick a department. There are 3 departments that you can pick. Steward department, they're the cooks. Deck department, they basically, work on the deck of the ship, chipping, painting, they do the steering. You can work your way up to being a captain in that department. Or you can be in the engine department. They have the chief engineer. They're the ones that do the maintenance on the ship engines and things like that. That's the department that I decided to go into. I was under the impression that they got paid the most money. Like, that's one of the things that persuaded me to go into that. And that's not necessarily true. Sometimes it is, though. I do like to work with my hands. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them that I really do like to work with my hands. When I was a kid, I used to try to like build robots, take bikes apart, put them back together, stuff like that. Like, I'm interested in that. So that's why I chose that department for myself. So when you go back to Phase 3, I don't remember how many weeks it was. Again, you're getting paid like $20 a week, not an hour, you guys, a week. So You're not making any money. You specialize in the department that you pick. So I had to take a lot of like junior engineering classes, blah, 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 So after that, you go back home and you wait for phase four. Phase four is your actual first ship, basically. And you get paid on this ship. Like I got paid pretty good money. It's entry level, but at least it wasn't $20 a week. So I was really excited. I was in Korea. My ship didn't go anywhere. So I was in Korea for about 4.5. It was actually like 5 months. I came back home and then I could start playing the union hall situation. As far as getting work, once you've graduated, you've made it through the whole program, you've done everything that you need to do, now you go to the union hall and it shows jobs that are available, and it'll show the department. If you're in the steward department, it says we have this job, report time is this day, it's leaving from out of this port. And if you're qualified for it, you can go and tell them, hey, this is the job that I want. Put down your card for it, or say, and they'll send you your flight information. You'll have that job, unless somebody with a higher seniority beats you out for that. So if you don't go through the school, you automatically start off as a C card. If you go through the school and you graduate the program, you're a B card. So you have a little bit more seniority. So anybody that wants a job, if you have higher seniority than they do, you'll get it before they do. So engine department, it'll say engine QMed, we're leaving February 2nd from the Oakland port. You say, I want that one. You throw in your card. Hey, all right, well, we're going to send the flight information, sign you up, blah, 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 and then you're on your way. You could leave as soon as that night. You could leave in like 2-3 weeks. It just depends. The pros and cons are that, I would say the cons are that you do have to be gone away from your family for long periods of time. People ask you a million questions all the time. People always assume that you have money, and when you go out, you're going to pay for stuff, or, it's always something, it seems like. You work with a lot of jerks sometimes, especially being a woman out there. One of the questions I get asked as soon as I get there, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? I'm here to create a living for myself. What are you doing here? It can be dangerous. You don't necessarily have to know how to swim to be a merchant seaman, but you should. I think everybody should know how to swim. So I know that a lot of people don't. My mom doesn't, but that's a whole other story right there. A pro would be you do make good money in a short amount of time. You just have to find a way. With the union I'm in, since we don't get paid while we're not working, you have to find a way to stretch that out, budget, or you have to go back out to see back to back. You get vacation checks a majority of the time. So every contract is different. You never get paid the same amount of money. Like, it's never the same, ever. You get to travel the world. You get paid to travel the world. I've been places that many people my age have never been able to go. I've been blessed to just see the world, see different things, learn different cultures, go out and experience things, and that's one of my favorite things to do. So traveling, seeing the world, it's been great. You learn trades. You learn trades that you can take with you and use whenever you decide to stop shipping. You can use them. If you're in the engine department and you become an electrician, you can use that to do a lot of different things. If you're a cook, you can open up your own restaurant or something. It's always something you can do. If sometimes you just want to get away, you can do that and get paid for it. Goodbye, everybody. I'm out of here. I'm trying to make sure I've covered everything. I'm not really sure, but if y'all have any other questions, just hit me up. Y'all gonna do it anyway, and ask. So anyway, it's super bright now. But I think I covered a majority of the questions people asked me. Hopefully I did. I don't know. The third phase, I believe it was 7 weeks. I know it wasn't anything close to 3 months, so that's one. 2, I think the Merchant Mariner credential is like $180, but don't quote me because I don't remember off the top of my head. Just do your research. And also I wanted to give a major shout out to, I call her my sister, her name is Keisha. She's been doing it for a long time, and she's the one who originally got me interested. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it helps somebody.